Well, I want to comment on a little bit on something on another angle, and it's when you have these rigid analysts out there, they got all these mathematical equations, and now honestly, when I was back when I was going to school and everything, my mathematical abilities were always 99th percentile on SATs. I was a math major before I was a accounting major in college. I had 30 credits in math, which is more than a full core curriculum. I know some stuff, man. I'm not, I'll put this guy down. He's going to go for shots tomorrow. But I want to say something here because, oh man, I've seen this so many times. It's almost like, oh, that guy don't know what he's talking about. What an idiot. How does he make so much money, you know? Always see this observation. And it's almost like the people that are very rigidly thinking, they got blinders on, they're very like, they have to have empirical, scientific evidence for everything. There's a lot of good to math. You need that information. I'm not saying that. Math, accounting, information, data, you need that. But when you're too much that way, and you screw it up. It's almost like there's a conflict between analysis and what you might call business sense. Business sense, you might call it common sense, horse sense, cat sense. We got the cat, right? I don't know. I mean, it's like almost like an instinct. And I put a little bit of, this is why I like these guys, man. I'll put a little bit of a Jewish joke out here. He says, why does a Jewish businessman have a big nose? Because he's always got his nose, he's always smelling for a good deal. And some of that's true in a way, because it's almost like you got to almost think like, any direction that's going to work for you. Now, actually on YouTube, if I was looking at my profitability on here, I would be doing a lot less of these silver videos and doing a lot more of mechanical videos. Actually, I like doing those and health videos, but I like doing these too because I get annoyed at the guys out there that put out information on finance and stuff. And actually, this has been my whole thing I've always been doing for most of my life, accounting and finance and stuff. But so I kind of do these more as a favor, in a way. There's not major profit in them, but I put these out a lot of times because I don't like the drama and stuff these other guys put out. They're just ridiculous. And you can get very detailed with all kinds of analysis and charts and stuff and lie with statistics too, right? I'm going to say this. I am 110% sure that silver, and especially palladium and platinum, especially palladium, are going to go through that freaking roof at some point in time. They're going to go way the hell up there. It's going to be gains all at once. Like in 1979, they had all the gains like in 6 or 9 months, right? And they just went exponential. I know that's going to happen again, man. So, I'm just hanging on, waiting for that freaking time that's going to happen. I don't care. And, actually right now, a lot of people are talking about the skies falling because of the government shutdown and everything. Well, I think it's a damn good bet. We're seeing more signs of cracks in the system as far as, I shouldn't laugh about it, about the S&P going down. It kind of broke through critical resistance. I'm almost sure that if they don't resolve this soon, the S&P is going to crash, man. And gold's going to take a nice boost up. Especially gold. And I think silver will too. But then, it may pull back a little bit, but then, go up again maybe when Janet Yellen gets put in office. The trend is upward, man. And it's not something I actually do off of total analysis. I mean, I read a lot of information. I look at a lot of different things, always looking at stuff. But, man, it's freaking obvious, man. It's obvious. But to tell you the truth, I don't really care about, if I had $1 gazillion, man, I'd probably be working on some old car or some shit like that. You know what I mean? I mean, I really... some of these people are so focused in on money, it's like, I don't know what the hell the deal is, man. I'd probably be doing this shit myself and everything like that. I mean, that's the kind of person I am. I'm more down to earth, And one thing I did learn from a lot of people, I seen a guy one time that had, I don't know, I don't know, $30,000 in the bank, right? And this is a good example of an idiot, right? He takes out, I don't know, 24,000 and buys a used BMW so he can drive around like he's some big shit. Damn, what an idiot. Now, I compared him with somebody else I know that's retired. He's got millions of dollars. He actually had car dealerships here in Florida. He had a Toyota dealership as one of his businesses. He owned the whole damn thing. You know, and he drives around in it was a Toyota, not the Camry, the Avalon. He drives around in an Avalon. I don't know, it was about 8 years old. And, you know, it had everything in it. It was in perfect shape. And it had like a couple 100,000 miles on it. He don't like flaunting his money. There's a lot of people that do that. I could see that about some other people I know currently, too. Okay? And, you know, that's the way to be, because anybody sees money, man. It's like if the guy comes over and he wants to fix your electric or your AC or some shit like that, in which I do my own work anyway, pretty much most of the time. Man, they'll charge you accordingly to how much you think you got. So, it's smart to play poor, man. It's smart to play poor. That's what you call business sense, damn it. So, I don't know, man. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there talking to maybe about the new $100 bill. You know, it's like more evidence that the system's crashing and shit. That system ain't crashing, man, exactly for that reason. I'm going to, you know, I think I promised I was going to do this on another video. I said I was going to point back to a link where I talked about how they issued fiat money during the Depression, and it actually helped the economy. They issued fiat money. Fiat money. The problem is we got a bunch of charlatan racketeers on the top running our system. It's not so much that the money is fiat. The problem is it's not controlled by the people themselves. We got racketeers, banksters running the joint. I mean, I'll just put it simple, right? Actually, fiat money can work to stimulate the economy. You know, you're thinking that's the exact opposite of what the silver and gold crowd says. Actually, it can work, but the problem is that's not what's really going on. We got some racketeers running this show. But I'll give you I want to point back to a video I did. I have to find it, and I'll link it up on this video, where you can look back what they did in 1930s Austria to actually get out of the depression locally, and the central bank got all pissed off. They actually did this locally with local fiat money. They didn't even have to issue anywhere near as much as they thought they had to, and it worked. No gold, no silver. Because the problem is, like with QE, I mean, it's all going into the top rich dogs on the top and the big banks, man. It ain't going to the middle class. For crying out loud. I mean, if they were using QE and they said, let's just issue a whole bunch of money out there and do like a project for more, I don't know, special high-tech solar panels that we can install for public electricity or something. I don't know, public roads, improving infrastructure in the United States, improving railways, you know, putting in, you know, compressed natural gas stations or something. I don't know, stuff like that, right? I mean, you know, it would create inflation by getting the money out into the economy, but the thing is, it would spur people to work. You know what I mean? It would spur people to work. So, I mean, right now, what we got right now is we got the big dogs are just having their asses protected on anything that they got for, like, toxic waste, you know, investments that they have in real estate, so the Fed buys them up and takes them off their balance sheet. That's a racket, man. See, that's the problem. The fiat money is not exactly 100% the problem. It's more, because anything can function as money. Anything. It's just that when you get it in the hands of racketeers, let me put it that way, that's the problem. The power to, you know, to coin money should be in the hands of the Congress, right directly, almost in the hands of the people. You know, if the people want to vote for a whole bunch of freaking money to be issued on public works and it creates inflation, well, that's their policy they voted for. The problem is it's taken out of the people's hands, right? So that's why we're in gold and silver. And you see, I call that business sense, common sense, horse sense. So you'll see what's going to happen eventually. The problem is it's not going to go up like nice and steady. It's going to go like like a freaking rocket. And then all the charlatans are going to come out and tell you to buy at any price. And probably freaking slam back down or something, or it'll tax the hell out of it, or do something else. But you know what I'll do? I'll trade it out for something else myself, you know, because I know there's always something of value that's a capital asset that produces, and I'll just do that, you know. I'll just do that. So as long as it's something that has actual, real, tangible, inherent value, like, you know, I'm gonna say this too, you know, people talk about, you know, sometimes I get this criticism on here, you know, to say like, what would you do if you sold your metals and you got Fiat? What'd you do? Keep Fiat cash? Well, you know what? Do you ever see, you know, people like that that make comments like that don't even understand anything, because first off, even if you look at a business, they're not most of the assets aren't in cash in any business, any private enterprise. They're actually in hard goods that are actually out there to produce more things that people need. They're in capital assets, right? So I mean, what I do with that? Yeah, maybe you get the currency immediately when you sell, but does that mean that's the thing I'm just going to hold forever? No. It's crazy. It's crazy. Nobody does that shit. You know, actually, if you look at the portfolios of all the wealthy, their money isn't all wrapped up in cash. It never is. Actually, a lot of it's wrapped up in real estate is one of the big things, too, besides equities. But equities in businesses that are actually producing things for people that people need, you know. Maybe they bought into cell phone companies when they were young, you know, and they were freaking powerful then, you know, and they even went up more exponentially, right? So it's a constant game. It's a constant game. But, you know, there is a lot to be said about business sense versus the people that have the blinders on and are strictly analysts. Because you can get lost in the numbers. You can miss the whole forest because you're looking at tree bark. And I've noticed so many times it's like the best people in business, they hire people like that, but the people that are very analytical, they usually aren't the ones that really run the show. They really aren't. There's a lot, unless they have that trait and they have other traits in combination with it. It can't be a person that is strictly mathematical and strictly analytical. They have to know how to communicate, and they also have to have that business sense, horse sense, common sense, and always looking out, because the landscape changes. Like the business world is almost like a sea of quicksand. You know, what something might be the good area that's going up, and then, you know, it may sink. It may sink. You don't want to stay in one position too long. That's just how it is in the business world. And, you know, people that are very analytical, that's exactly what they do. So, you know, precious metals to me is not a forever, ever hold. But like I says, what the hell business goes into all cash anyway? None. None. I mean, look at all the balance sheets of all the businesses out there, which I've seen gazillions of them. I mean, I look at cash, it's like a small portion of what their assets are. It has to do with a lot of other things. You know, it depends on what the business is, you know. I mean, if it's construction business, there's a lot of equipment out there and things like that. There's a lot of inventory, of course, land and infrastructure, whatever the hell it is, you know. So, I mean, you know, if I was to actually flip over metals, I would, you know, use it for something else that would actually be an asset that would produce for me what I wanted to do. Not that I know exactly what that would be at this time, because something could change. I don't really have any set plans. But like I said, you know, there's that old joke. You know, what does a Jewish businessman have a big nose? I'm not Jewish, but, you know, it's almost like you're always smelling for a good deal. Because that's actually more important than a hardcore mathematical analysis. The analysis is important, but it's actually that business sense, common sense, and always looking out for a better deal. That counts too. So, you know, that's where the ultra analytical type people, they never really succeed well in business, because they are too narrow-minded. That might be a good trait to have in combination of other traits, but if you're mainly leaning on that one trait, you're basically going to be an employee of a real entrepreneur. That's exactly what that happens.